shake it out, yes, you know? Lemon face, rah.
Well, I don't think I need to care about the expression for this.
Yeah, I'm just having fun with it.
Okay, I love that. Right?
Yeah, right? You heard that? Yeah. How embarrassing. Okay, here we go. You're listening to Coyote Radio, local bands 24/7. It's your MC, DJ, or MC El Coyote. Awoooooo! Tonight, our second guest this evening is Dakshayani. Oh, okay, I'm still on. All right, Dakshayani Kasinathan, right? But she prefers to go as Dax. Dax is the president of the CSUSB chapter of Public Relations Student Society of America. She is joining us in the studio to talk about who and what PRSSA offers students of CSUSB and America. PRSSA, or the Public Relations Student Society of America, is a student organization that creates a space for aspiring public relations professionals to come together to build their skills and gain invaluable experience. At Cal State University San Bernardino, our PRSSA chapter is dedicated to supporting students in their development within the public relations field. PRSSA acts as a bridge between academic learning and a real-world application. We offer a wide range of academic and professional opportunities that extend beyond traditional classroom settings. Our organization fosters meaningful relationships within the PR industry and provides hands-on experience that is essential for future careers. We organize various activities and events designed to help our members hone their skills, broaden their knowledge, and create valuable connections in the field. These offerings include workshops on resume building and professional development, networking events with industry professionals, and opportunities to engage with real PR campaigns. Dax.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being with me tonight.
Thank you for having me, Miguel. I'm very excited. I don't think I've ever been speaking at a radio show before. So this is a big deal.
It's a first.
This is my first.
Experiences are being made. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
What can you tell me about public relations?
Yeah, so I mean, PR is a strategic communication process. And so basically what PR is it's a process that sort of helps bring an organization and helps bridge that gap between an organization and a target public. And so what public relations specialists do essentially is bridge that gap together and, think about, okay, who are these organizations looking for, and how can we find these people for them? So I don't know, I see it as sort of building community and letting people find their community. That's how I see PRS. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's that's very important in this day and age.
It is. I think now is the most important time to have community.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Wise words. Yeah. What kind of experience do you provide to people who work and aspire to work in public relations?
Yeah, so one of the things that we sort of provide is professional development opportunities. We have workshops, we have training. Some of the workshops that we have are essential skills, such as resume building. We have headshot opportunities, which will literally help in LinkedIn optimization, because LinkedIn is so important, especially in the PR world. We also offer a PR sector series where we have speakers from the PR industry sort of come and speak about their professional career and sort of the path that it took for them to get to where they are now. And they also offer case studies about real life experiences of what they have had to deal with. And so we have to sort of come together as groups and sort of create strategies for those issues. And then they sort of pick a winner and they tell us okay, what's the best way to go about it. So it really is an opportunity for students who want to be in PR to essentially learn how to navigate it,
Yeah, that sounds very strategic, which is my field, but that's interesting. Incorporating communications. I have been meaning to join PRSSA.
You should.
For a good second, but my biggest problem is that your meetings are usually at the time of this when I DJ.
Ooh, we're gonna have to do something about that, huh?
Yeah,
Okay, well, if you really do want to do it, then we will do something about it. Because here at PRSSA, we care about the students. And we want to be as accessible as possible. So we'll definitely try to work something out.
I appreciate that. That's exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
How many PRSSA chapters are there?
It's a good question, Miguel. So we have around like 300 chapters. Like, most of them are in the United States, but there are some in South America, like in Peru and Argentina. But most of them are here. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I could imagine. If at least. I mean, I don't know how many higher ed institutions there are in America, but I would assume that you would be found in most higher ed institutions.
Oh yeah. Like there's so many chapters. You have chapters in Fullerton, in USC. Chapters in like CSU Long Beach, CSU Pomona. There's so many.
Do you ever meet or talk with some of your sisters or brothers?
Yes, we actually do. So thanks for bringing that up. Like about a few months ago, we actually had this mingle opportunity where all the different chapters kind of came together. I think it was organized by CSU Fullerton, and they brought together students from Long Beach, chapters from Long Beach, from USC, and just different places. And then I think San Bernardino, we were the furthest one, because we're all the way in San Bernardino, and they're in LA. And it was so great, though. I met so many girls, so many guys, and everyone was just like, give me your LinkedIn, It was such a perfect opportunity to get to know, your brothers and sisters, right? And I think something that was so important from that was that they were able to tell us what they've done. Because fun fact about PRSSA at CSUSB is that we're relatively new. We just started our club. Not just started, but we started our club like 6 months ago, actually. So we charted our club like last fall, 2024, and it was pretty tough getting students and sort of starting like the foundation. And so when we were talking to them, they had like 200 students, 200 members, and we were like, ooh, okay, so what do you guys do? Like, tell us. So it was so helpful. They gave us a lot of like advice in recruitment and fundraising and outreaching and stuff. So yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What kind of what advice rung out to you when trying to recruit people for PRSSA out here?
I think the biggest advice that they gave was, hey, you're gonna need to go into every communication class and just talk about PRSSA. And I never really, I don't know, I thought of just sending out an email at first, but obviously there's so many ways to go about it, right? And I think that they were so right, like going and talking in classes and letting professors know, like, hey, I want to talk about this, really sort of sets the tone for many professors to be like, oh, okay, by the way, students, if you're interested in something like that, let me tell you about it, So it was a good opportunity. And I also think tabling, they mentioned tabling, and we tabled during club fair. It was such a success. We got about 10 new members from tabling. I know it was such a great experience, and just seeing all my other members like utilize their oral speaking skills and talking about PRSSA and how much the chapter has helped them was just so nice and very encouraging to see.
Yeah, very encouraging. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about how I can apply that, because I'm also an SQE, Students for Quality of Education.
Yes,
and
so impressive.
We're trying to push for change, and we want to get the word out to students. And one of our campaigns is, as you say, going into class to class and speaking, presenting in front of classrooms and informing students about what's happening. And when people, they seem to not care, but when they hear and they listen,
they do.
Something like sparks in them. They're like, oh, this interests me. I'm passionate about stopping tuition hike or joining the Public Relations Students Society of America.
There you go. No, I agree. And I think one thing that people don't really think about is that students actually get so inspired when they see other students doing something like this, you know? I think it's so easy to, especially after COVID and all, like, students coming on campus thinking like, okay, like, I don't know how to reach out to people, I don't know how to network, like,
right.
Isn't university supposed to be a time where we connect with people and have the best times of our life and like build all these skills? Some of them just don't know where to start, right? And so I think that showing them that, oh, okay, we have this on campus and we can do this, and hey, look, we're doing it, you can do it too, like, it's such a good, you know, boost and encouragement for them as well. Right.
It's so interesting that you mentioned COVID right now, because I started attending class out here right after the pandemic started to, you know, so they started opening up classes, and my first couple semesters out here in CSUSB, it was dead. There was like no clubs, there was no events going on, you know? And now they're springing up out of everywhere, like, you know, like just like you saying right now, you guys started PRSSA like 6 months ago, and here you are, like, you know, striving, pushing forward something that you want, and building those connections and making those memories with friends, you know. It's always all about the friends that we make along the way.
It definitely is. It really is. You know, I have my team to thank for that, and you know, every member of PRSSA has definitely contributed to that, but I think most importantly, like, the team that I work with, I work with a bunch of women who genuinely just have so much passion for PR, and it's so inspiring, you know, to be around that, and they push me, and we really we push each other to try, you know. And so, you know, like, I am here being able to talk about PRSSA and even letting you know that we've increased members and all solely because I work with such an amazing team.
We have to give it up to our women.
We really do. Hey. We really do. You know, I have one of my secretaries out there taking a video right now. See, they really do show up. So.
Yeah, they do show up, you know? Yeah. Have you, sorry, sidetrack. Have you heard of One Piece?
Is that like a show?
Yes.
Okay, wait, it's the animated show, right? Okay, I know what you're talking about. The guy with the hat.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know it, I don't watch it, but I know of it.
That's okay. Yeah. I like how you say it's the best thing ever in the world, you know?
Oh, wow,
and like, yeah. One of the motifs of the show is the friends that we make along the way, you know? So you have your own pirate crew helping you out, spread the word about PRSSA, and, you know, you guys are just kicking it on the side and haha, hee hee, you know? Yeah. But the struggle... Yeah, your pirate crew. You know, you're nakamas.
I don't know how they're gonna feel if I call them that, but we'll have to check. But
you need to get You got a pirate flag. You know, think of the Dax Pirates.
Yeah, maybe we'll have like Pirates. The Coyote on there, and then we'll put the pirate thingy.
That sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, great idea. I look forward to seeing your new logo for PRSSA. Yeah.
We'll see if it gets approved.
Have you ever applied your PR experience in the real world?
I actually have. That's such a good question because, you know, I cannot be just talking about it and not showing some form of examples, right? But yes, I have, and I would say that one of the biggest things is sort of similar to what we were talking about, which is connecting with people and networking. That's like one thing PRSSA has taught me so much, and not just PRSSA, but just going to strategic communication classes and PR practicum classes. That's one thing that you learn, and it's about the connections that you make and that networking that you make. And honestly, it's two things. It's connecting, for me at least, it's connecting with people, but then how do you maintain those connections? Because you can always meet people and be like, oh my God, give me your social media or give me your email and I'll reach out to you. And then it's like,
ghost.
It's like, do you follow up on that? And I think one thing about PR that people need to understand is that you don't just build relationships, you got to maintain those relationships, right? And that's one thing I've learned so much. And it's that, like, you have to send follow-up emails. And when you're emailing clients, when you're emailing potential pitching ideas to people, you have to follow up with them. And the tone of your message matters, the content of your message matters, who are you talking to, you know? You have to think about these things. And yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest things that I definitely have learned to apply, like, because of PR. Like, I send like 20 to 30 emails like every day, and that might not be enough, honestly.
No, but
it's not enough, but like new people every day, and
Uh-huh.
I need to continuously like respond to them, and also in a timely manner. That's something I'm learning too, you guys.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but
It's not.
especially
you.
with just how busy life gets.
Yeah.
But it really is like an opportunity to learn how to sort of navigate that in the real world and not have an issue when you're actually working.
Right. Right. 20 to 30 emails a day.
That-
Right so far.
Is that like little? I think that's like not enough.
No, that's more than I send in a day.
Okay.
I mean, I send messages, right? You know,
Right.
like texts and whatnot. So I can consider emails, but
Okay.
but an email is very formal. You know,
it is.
you
No,
have
and
to.
that's part of the job, right?
Mhm.
You have people sending 50 sometimes, so I don't think I'm even close to what
Practice.
those people are. But yeah.
You're gonna break those numbers. One day you'll be
Ooh, can't
sending
wait.
100, 200 emails a day.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I should put that in my manifestation goal.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, I would like to hit
Wow.
100
Emails a day. Wow.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, hey, email all your PRSSA members, you know?
Yes, PRSSA.
Right.
You know, it's so funny because we call ourselves PRSSA, but a lot of people who see us, they always call us PRSSA. And you're not
Uh-huh.
the first person.
Is-
I remember going to an event and someone looked at me and they were like, "Oh my God, you're part of PRSSA, right?" And I'm like, "What is that, PRSSA?"
Uh-huh.
And then they were like, you know, the PR thing, and I'm like, "Oh, PRSSA." But I think we should call it PRSSA. I think that it's easier, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just-
PRSSA just seems a little too much work.
To say.
I know.
Yeah,
Sure.
but you know, it flows off PRSSA. I
Yeah,
think,
PRSSA, I think so.
you know, people will get it.
People get it.
Yeah, they'll read the book PRSSA, Public Relations, Student
Student
Society of America.
America.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Very interesting though, you know, use of PR in the real world. Yeah, I consider that too in my own like. Yeah, like you say, being timely, responding to people, following up to people,
Yeah.
pushing your message out. It all matters, and doing it in a timely manner. You know,
Yeah.
it is a lot of work, and
It is. Showing professionalism is a lot of work, you know.
so draining.
Tell me about it,
Yeah.
you know. But we persevere, right?
We persevere.
We persevere.
Mm-hmm. What kind of professional opportunities does your organization offer to students?
That's so it's a lot.
Uh-huh.
You know, I apart from some of the things that I've mentioned, you know, about like networking and having access to all these like workshops and stuff, I think the PRSSA portal that every member has access to, it's basically a toolkit. You know, you have a job resource center, you have an internship opportunity like resource center, and that literally tailors your like specific needs and your specific skills to the internships that they offer, you know. And then you have scholarship opportunities as well, and there's a whole list of like media publics, you know, and that's so important to have. So they offer you those lists, so you literally have like all these resources, you know, and you're not starting from the ground up. You're given that, and it's like, okay, use it. So that's one of the few things that we offer that people should utilize.
Yeah.
Just
sounds really cool.
It is.
Especially if you're gonna graduate soon.
Yeah,
and
guys.
you're like, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna work? I guess PRSSA gives you an opportunity to reach out with potential employers.
It does, and not only, you know, like through the website, like for example, you know, our speaker series that I mentioned, you know, our last speaker series, our speaker Veronica, she works with the Riverside City Council, and not City Council, but just the City of Riverside with Parks and Rec, and she kind of offered, you know, these internship opportunities where you get to gain experience and also volunteer to help and build your resume. So these are all things that, you know, that you get being part of the club.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Being a part of the club.
Part of the club.
I need to hop on that. I gotta get
You
my
need to, yeah.
membership dues in, especially as a communicator, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of meaningful relationships have you fostered? I know we were talking about your nakama out there, but like, you know, who, like, yeah.
You know, I think I spoke about that earlier, which is my team. I genuinely feel like a lot of the things I've built a lot of good relationships with people, but I think something that was or has been very meaningful that I think I will continue to have in my life would be just working with the team that I have. You know, my vice president, my secretary, my director of fundraiser, my social media manager, my director of outreach and recruitment, and my treasurer. Like, all of us, you know, they all show so much passion in PR, and it's really nice to see a bunch of women just, you know, having a goal and working towards that goal. And I think one thing that people don't really talk about is when you're surrounded by women, like-minded people, it just sort of propels you to a path, and it brings you further than you thought you would be.
Right.
And it's so inspiring. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Like, a lot of the people that I work with, yeah, literally, a lot of the people that I work with, they are juggling like 2 different internships, 2 different jobs, and school, and I'm just like, oh my God, you are telling me that I can do way more than I thought I could, and I thought I couldn't. You know, it's so inspiring, and I think that being able to surround myself with people like that, or a team like that, is so encouraging. It's so motivating, and you won't find that just anywhere, right? So I think that's definitely one of the biggest, like, meaningful relationships that I've had in being part of PRSSA.
That sounds very meaningful. I feel like, you know, like we're saying, building these connections, like, later in the future, you're gonna end up, or who knows, like, they'll be like, oh my God, Dax, it's so good to see you. Look, I'm working out here in this firm, you know, I need somebody to come out and, you know, send 100 emails a day for the business.
Oh my God, that 100. I feel like, I hope by that time it hits, like, I don't know, 150, 200 maybe, you know, around that. And I'll take it. Yeah.
You know, I've been thinking about, I know a sidetrack, right? But I've been thinking a lot about, like, writing, like, my paper, because I have to write my research paper this semester.
Okay. Ooh.
But, you know, like, writing kind of just seems like a lot of work for me.
Okay.
But you know, advocating for SQE, you know, I'm out there talking to students and people and trying to find a way to, like, rationalize and convey my message to other people helps me build my research, my ideas. So it's like, I feel like I should speak into, like, a mic my ideas and concepts.
Yeah.
So I know that's sidetrack, but I was thinking, what if you, instead of typing emails, spoke into, you know, and then just have it translate your emails.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that would
like
work.
Transcribing.
Because you would probably still have to go in after the fact and, like, edit everything if it didn't understand.
You know, fun
probably
fact.
Be too much. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Sorry, I sort of cut you off, but fun fact, I always I'm always talking. I'm like, Siri, can you send a message to someone? And I'm, like, speaking, because it's a lot of work sometimes typing, but yeah, you were saying that you want to do that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's helpful?
Heck yeah. Hey, I'm talking, and I used to work in retail, so, you know, it's always trying to convince someone, like, oh, you should buy this, and this is why you should buy this,
right.
and I like using it because of this, you know. So it's like trying to, you know, spread the idea, like, oh, I'm part of SQE. We're out here advocating for students. Something that I care about is the tuition hike. What do you know about the tuition hike? Oh, you don't know much about it? Well, starting last year, they're going to raise tuition 6% every year until 2029, where tuition's $8K, and we could barely afford tuition anymore, you know? So it's just building that argument and like, oh, you know, the school wants to be like, they don't have money to fund our resources. But there's a $12 billion reserve for the whole CSU system that would, you know, solve the financial crisis and have money left over. They want to say that they can't give our faculty raises, but our president gets a 5% raise every year and gets almost up to $500,000 salary and housing and parking, whatever, you know. I say he's our welfare queen. Yeah, I hope I don't get taken off the show, the air. They're gonna be like, get that! Get that! I don't know, I'm so sorry.
No,
I don't want to harm your name.
Apologize to me. No, I'm so happy that you...
PRSSA, but
No, I'm happy that you brought that up, because I was part of that strike that they were having, you know, like that protest.
Yes.
Ooh, they might also get me into trouble now. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I was marching with a bunch of my professors, like around campus with that like red flag and
in the rain.
No, it wasn't in the rain actually.
Okay.
It was pretty sunny that day. But we were going around. This was a while back.
Another day.
It was a CSU like strike. And I was walking part of that because you're right. It's kind of crazy.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
When did education become for profit? I thought, you know.
When did education become for profit? I know it's kind of it's sort of devastating to see that education has become sort of a business model. You know, but you know we can get into that another time. Not in the community radio.
Sorry for Yeah, sorry for getting too passionate.
We're just kidding.
Don't fire me. Let me get my degree. Where did you gain your hands-on experience in the field of public relations?
Yeah, so I think that basically, to be completely honest, I think that I've barely scraped the surface of like my experience. You know, I've just sort of begun. But I will say that my professors here, you know, I have to shout them out, especially my practicum class with Dr. Torres, you know, and my writing for PR with Sydney Robinson, who both happen to be our advisors for PRSSA, if you must know. That's my completely unbiased opinion, by the way. But they sort of taught me so much about PR because I think I took that class and, you know, I had to start writing media kits and creating press kits and sort of pitching ideas to clients, creating a whole like media contact and all like things that I didn't know that I needed to do, and then also learning how to present in front of a class. I was in that class with, you know, a bunch of the people in my board members of PRSSA, you know, and we had to learn how to, you know, work in teams and sort of like pitch ideas and stuff. So I would definitely, you know, shout that out, like say that it's because of the classes here that I was able to create hands-on experience.
Yeah. See, CSUSB, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
It's a great institution, you know.
It's amazing, you know.
A lot of amazing professors that are so knowledgeable in their fields.
Yeah.
Teaching.
Very encouraging, you know.
Very encouraging. Yeah. And we love it here. We just want it to be better.
A little cheaper would be great.
Yeah. Sidetrack. Sydney Robinson.
Yes.
Did you take his class in person?
In person? Yes. Well, okay. I took an asynchronous class with him. So I actually took two classes with him for 2 different semesters. So I did writing for PR, which was an online class, and then I took another one, which is a strategic communication class, which is him basically talking about PR, right? But that class was a Zoom class. So yeah, it wasn't in person, but it was great. You know, I've learned so many valuable information thanks to him, and you know, if anything, I became the president of this club and even charted this club because of him and Professor Torres. Like I remember them coming to the class and saying, we're gonna start a new club and we need students to be part of the club. And I remember, sorry, you didn't even ask me the story about that, but I'm just gonna
it's okay.
share.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking, okay, you know what, like this is gonna help me in my career, right? So let me just be a member. And they looked at me and they were like, yeah, we don't really need a member. We actually need officers because this is like a club that hasn't even been chartered. So I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for their encouragement and how much they believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. So
oh my goodness.
Really, I have to shout them out. Shout out to you guys.
Hey, these professors. But on a, you know, high key though, like really, bro, like I feel like any room that you come into, you command, you know, the energy, like.
Oh, you're so kind.
No, but I
feel like he has to say this because it's.
No, for real. But like, you know, you seem very dedicated, task oriented, very professional. Like, you know, you just come in like, all right, I have stuff to do here. Oh shoot, I got in a meeting in about an hour. Like, let's cut this up. You know, I gotta go. But we'll have coffee later. Yeah,
oh my god, thank you.
Energy you give off.
Try. I really do try. But again, I cannot take credit for all of that. You know, I'm able to I'm able to do all of this because I have an amazing team and amazing mentors, you know.
Yes, amazing mentors, amazing people that we meet here.
Yep.
CSUSB, the IE Inland Empire, you know,
Yep.
shout it out.
Shout out.
to
Kendrick Lamar,
Kendrick
shout it
Lamar,
out.
Kendrick
Shout
Lamar,
out
shout out
to
to IE. Hey.
I'm so happy that he did that.
Yeah, you know, getting notoriety, recognition.
Yeah,
you know.
we need that,
Yeah,
right?
we're out here.
Yeah, every time I tell people I'm from CSUSB, they're like, where's that?
Where?
And I'm like,
Oh,
San Bernardino? And they're like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Well,
now I'm going to let them know the one that Kendrick Lamar shouted out during the Grammys. That one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. What do you think are essential skills for the field of public relations?
Well, I mean, it's really the basics of like good communication, right? Good writing. But I think, you know, to actually get into it, it would be flexibility. One thing about PR is that it is one of the most like diverse and a diverse and versatile field. There's like there's graphic designing, there's writing, and there's like storytelling, and then there's like talking to people. And there's so many different things that you do, and I think that having that ability to adapt and being flexible in an environment that you are will definitely help you in the field for sure.
You know what?
Tell me.
People want to like give me shade because I'm getting a degree in communications.
Oh my God!
But
tell me about that.
It's just whatever. It's just like, you know, people are like, oh, you're not studying a science or math, like whatever. I'm like, bro, but like communications, it's like it's essential. You know, you can't run the country without communications.
No, you can't.
You know, and people, like we say these days, like, you know, people are too scared to speak, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people drop out of oral communications because they're too scared to speak, you know? So it's like, yeah, it matters, you know? Especially now.
It does.
We're going to be the backbone. We're going to be teaching people how to communicate in a time where they're too arrogant and too... what's the best way to say it? They're too used to being keyboard warriors that they don't know how to communicate in person.
No, that's so true. That's so true. I think that we're also in a current climate that like technology is so like advancing so rapidly, and so there's information that's being shared, and you don't even know if these informations are like true or not, right? And because of that, it's like you need people to sort of be able to like
distinguish.
Yes,
right.
And also like make sure that the communications that at least the communication that like we learn is to be ethical, you know. And I think that we're losing a lot of ethics in communication right now. So I think just studying about like ethics in communication and how we want to persuade people, but not in a very like manipulative way, is really important. And so I think communication is so important right now.
Yeah, very, very much so. What careers does someone who majors in public relations strive to achieve?
Yeah, so, you know, there you have the public relations specialist. You've got, you know, right now there's social media management, and there's also, like, what else? Like, marketing and advertising, you know, and we have things like marketing, advertising. Let me think. You know, but again, like, there's so many things that you can do. You do a lot of writing, journalism, that's also, like, storytelling. Then I think one of the biggest things as well, you know, we talk about connecting and networking with people. It's the ability to hold conversations and interviews, such as what you're doing right now, right? Being able to speak to people, because at the end of the day, you want to sell, like, not to say sell, but you want to pitch a story, and you want people to take that story.
Persuade.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you want people to hear that story and be like, okay, I want to cover this story. And so how are you going to be able to convey that story in a way that gets people's attention, or at least get some form of like editor or a journalist to cover that story?
Facts.
So,
yeah. On that note, I was thinking about, have you heard of Professor T.C. Corrigan?
Yes, I know Thomas Corrigan. Yeah.
He's an amazing professor.
I think so too. I had a class with him.
You know, he was telling me the other day about how important local journalism is, you know, in the area, to keep all of us informed, but we have to be the ones to engage in that. So something about that is that, you know, that skills to writing like a PR piece, or like a, you know, a journal that you want published. You know, you can, if you know how to do it, like, you know, because you have to do it to the T, like perfect. Like, you can't miss a single comma because they'll just throw it away. But if you know how to do it, you can do it yourself and send it to any, you know, publisher out here in the IE, and, you know,
publish it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You know,
That's
skills.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, fun facts. TC Corrigan, another amazing professor out here at CSUSB.
I took his class once, 2 years ago. A year and a half ago, and I remember just talking about that class and telling my friends the things that I learned at that class, you know, about how local news is just like, it's sort of dying, and it's being bought out by like big conglomerate companies, and it's like, how, like, to live in a democratic environment, you need news, you know, and like trust and credible news, right?
Yeah. That's why we had the whole thing go down with TikTok. You know, it was I wouldn't say reliable, but it was newsworthy enough for people to go on and to spread like major events worldwide, and it was just too powerful for the media company to, you know, keep their narrative, so they had to squash it. Interesting. What kind of activities does PRSSA host?
Yeah, so I think I've mentioned a few, but we have our sector series events. So, you know, our amazing vice president and director of events and programs, she's you know, made connections with a lot of PRSSA members, and so she brings them in, and they sort of come and talk about, you know, their professional careers and stuff. And then we're also going to have a mingle event on the 28th of March. You heard it here first. And it's also, this event is also, you know, a networking and connecting event for members, not just members actually, for students at CSUSB to come and learn the art of networking and actually be part of that, you know. So more details will be announced, shared soon. But
exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna have that, and you know, we have speaker series lined up, and we have like fundraiser events that we're planning as well, and a lot of these things. So, and also then we have members sort of coming and giving us ideas and like, oh, I want to do this, and we're like, okay, you know what, like, would you like to take the lead on this? Like, you know, like, try
form your own special committee.
Something like that.
Cool. Really cool. Wow. Yeah, your organization sounds so amazing.
It does, doesn't it? That's why I think people should join it.
Yes. Which is why I'm like, all right, I'm going to make the effort too. I know, like, because it's like I'm busy here being, you know, the DJ, doing my own, like, PR, you know? But, you know, like, those are opportunities that I don't really want to miss out on. Like,
no, you shouldn't.
It sounds fun.
You shouldn't. And yeah, we will try to work something out so that, you know, we want to be accessible to students, you know, and, you know, if you can't come for some meetings, that we offer it on Zoom, and we can also, you know, change it up, and we can inform you, keep you updated. We have newsletters that come out every time, and so you're always informed. Like, even if you don't come for the meetings, you will always be informed. You'll have the dates of when to come and when to show up.
Right.
So yeah, like, even though you feel like you might not be able to be in the loop, like, we will still find a way to keep you in the loop, you know.
Communications.
Literally communications,
Wow, how amazing. What materials do you suggest one should visit to get a basic knowledge of public relations?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So, you know, on the PRSSA website, they have publications of their own, like PR tactics and like all these different little journals to sort of give you a basic idea of PR. But one thing that I do is, number one, PRSSA podcast is really interesting, because you have literally alumni from PRSSA like talking about their experience, talking about the things that they've done, and then they also have professionals come and, you know, talk about the things, and there's a lot to learn from that, honestly. Like, you kind of get a glimpse of what it looks like, what life would look like in a PR world, and so that's one. And then something that my personal favorite is case studies. So I like to sort of analyze current PR crisis situations that go on, and like real world experience, and, you know, successful PR campaigns or unsuccessful ones. You know, we kind of do that in class too, right? We look at like advertisements, commercials from the Super Bowl, and we try to figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't work, and you can learn a lot from it and see like, okay, what were they trying to do, and so I think that's one thing I like to do, is to sort of analyze
media,
different sorts of media, and like understand,
and that's important, communications,
Yeah.
analyzing media. What propaganda are they trying to sell me?
Exactly. I mean, it's all about media literacy, right? We need that so much right now, and so that's definitely part of analyzing media.
My degree is coming, like everything is just falling into like, for real, because it's like, why have I I've never questioned why I studied communications. I always felt it was very important to me, but it's just now like I'm at the precipice and everything is just falling in like into order,
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you feel that way, because I think more communication students need to feel that way, because you're so right, and like I think you really touched the nail on that one with the whole, like, when you tell people you're studying communications, people sort of look at you and they're just like, so what are you doing? Like, what is communication? And it's like, it's a lot. Like,
yes.
It's basically everything that you do. Like, everyone communicates in some aspects,
Right.
And I think one of the most amazing things about communication is that, like, every industry needs communication. The health sector, the sports sector, the political sector, the entertainment sector, the fashion sector. So much, and so there's that's what I mean when I say it's versatile, because you can be working in so many different sectors and still be doing communications.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting that you put it like that, because when I first started my study here at CSUSB, there was a couple people I had met that wanted to work as like news anchors, but for sports, and then I was analyzing the NFL the other day, and just like their media corporation, like how they have it down to like a T. Like they have the show, and then the after show, and then the pre-show, and then the reruns, and then the statistics shows to break everything down, and like like that media empire.
It's so amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
It's so complex. I feel like a lot of people do so much, like, do a disservice to communication to make it sound like it's the most like generic thing.
You just talk to people,
literally, and it's like, no, it's actually a lot more than that. There's so much complexity, so much planning that goes, and every PR campaign, like, that's one thing that we've learned as well, right? Every PR campaign has like these like well thought out plans and like goals and objectives that you have, and so it extends more than just talking to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you also graduating this year?
No, I'm actually graduating fall 2025. I have one more semester to go.
But one more semester to make those connections and build PRSSA up out here at CSUSB.
I hope. One can only hope.
No, you've got this in the bag.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm manifesting that, and I'm hoping he's up there helping me.
Hey, write it in an email. Send
yes,
it out. Send it out into the ether. Yeah.
I should. I will. Maybe after this. Yeah.
Cool. What kind of industry professionals have you met thanks to being part of PRSSA? I know you mentioned our professors, but is there anyone else you would like to highlight even more? Sorry, go ahead.
For sure. I actually have like a name in my mind right now, and so how I mentioned our sector series, our PR sector series, and so what our amazing VP has done is to sort of bring people to speak, right? And we've also had this like panel discussions that she's held before for the club, and I got to speak with this woman. Sorry, that sounds very
no. There's nothing wrong with that. It's true.
But Stephanie Graham. So Stephanie Graham happens to be the president of PRSSA, the national organization.
Wow.
So we had an opportunity to hear from her, and she's also the senior director of communications for Harvey Mudd College.
Okay.
And so I got to like meet her, like, I mean, virtually, of course, but got to speak to her and hear what she does and get advice from people like this. I'm telling you, like, these advice from PR professionals is so important, because like it gives you sort of an idea of like, okay, what you have to look out for, and some of them didn't have that, and so like to have access to that is just amazing, right? And then I've spoken to Hannah Tudor. She's also the senior director of marketing for a photography company, and she's also a member of PRSSA, and she was also giving her like sort of experience to us and stuff, and just a very lovely woman. And then, you know, Veronica, I've mentioned to you, I got to speak with her as well, and not just me but my entire PRSSA members, we got to speak to her. Wonderful. One thing I will say about all the professionals that I've met, they have been amazing, and I think that it's a testament to how networking and connection is such a important point of PR. You know, it's like the center of PR, like a little bit. And so yeah, I've just met all these wonderful people, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna meet a lot more. And you will too if you join. You know?
Hey, yes, of course, I have to. You know.
Yeah, I mean, after this, you don't have much of a choice.
So inspired, bro. You inspired me so much tonight.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. What does a PR campaign look like to you? What's your when you imagine like your PR campaign, like trying to put PRSSA like out there, like what are your goals? What's your step-by-step like game plan? Okay,
well, I can talk about like a PR campaign in general, but like for PRSSA specifically, I think for me is I'd want to sort of have a tabling situation. I mean, we've already have tabling, but like in terms of campaigning, I think we're already like living that process, right? Like we are, you know, getting out, we're recruiting, we're outreaching, you know, we're already part of that process of campaigning. But I think right now it's sort of evaluating like what the members want, sort of doing that research of like, okay, what do members want? What do like the target publics want? And I think that's what we've been working on so far. Like we're talking about all these like amazing opportunities because we know that we're in a space where students want opportunities, they want resources. So that's like something that we've definitely done, like evaluating that and sort of, you know, creating goals for ourselves. I think, you know, every person who does PR and understands what a PR campaign is that you sort of set goals, you set objectives for those goals, you know, that's sort of the step-by-step, and then you implement those things, right? And one of the ways that we've implemented is we've gone into classes, as I've mentioned, and we've talked about PRSSA, and when we hear back from people, we're like, okay, so great, like one or two people like we're very interested, so okay, how do we move forward, you know, stuff like that, right? And yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you know, especially being a part of Dr. Perez Torres' class, you know, and just reflecting back on the, you know, steps that we take when we're promoting our clubs and engaging with students, you know, reflecting that and the, you know, like the step-by-step process of the campaign, being a part of it, it's magical, you know? And then reflecting on it, it's just like, okay, yeah, but how can I do this better, right? Yes, it is. I think that's a perfect way, like the steps of it.
Final two questions, and then we're about to call it an evening. Thank you again so much for, you know, being here. Like,
no, thank you for having me. Like I said, this is my first like radio talk show moment, so I am
killed it.
Happy.
I don't know if that word is a bad thing to say, but this thing, but
thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Before we you know, we'll pat our backs later. Like,
okay, great.
Why did you want to become a specialist in public relations?
Well, that's a very interesting question because it didn't start off with public relations. Like I wanted to be a PR specialist. You know, it started off with, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? You know, it started off with that. I graduated high school. Like I finished, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, and for the longest time, I knew myself as a person who loved the public. I loved connecting people. And I loved community. That was something that was very like pivotal growing up. Like community, connecting with people, you know, like unity. That was something so important in my life. And so I was like, okay, what does that? And at that moment, I was thinking, okay, business. You know, I feel like business does that. Business can do that. And so I became a business major, and I started to go for those classes because I thought that, like, you know, business and advertising, you know, we get to work with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And spoiler alert, it was very different. It was not what I thought it was,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not me. You know, I remember
Mm-hmm.
just talking to my dad and saying that, like, yeah, this was not what I expected, you know, and I was sort of figuring out, okay, what is it that I like about business, and I realized, okay, it's the communication aspect of business, right? Like talking to people and like advocating for people and maybe advocating for a brand to people, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
And business was more about like growth and like profit, and that was just not something that I was. Of course, those are really important things,
Yes.
but it was just not my like main priority. And I remember just like sort of freaking out, like, okay, I don't know then what do I do? And I remember my friends saying like, oh, like sort of like PR, like that's what you're into, and I'm just like, PR, like what is that? You know? And I was speaking to my advisor, and she was like, okay, it sounds like PR is more of a communication thing, so do you want to do communication instead?
Mm-hmm.
And I got into communication, and I started a journalism class because we didn't have PR classes back in my community college. And I started writing stories, and I never knew that I would fall in love with writing stories.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
Oh my god, like I can just sit down and talk about how just writing stories was so big to me because I had the opportunity to interview students on campus and write their stories for articles, and that's community work.
Yeah,
That's like listening to people and like telling their stories for them, you know. And that was such a big thing. And I remember just falling in love with that. And then eventually I was like, okay, I think I'm ready, like, to like check out this PR thing. And then when I found out PR is about telling stories and bridging people together, it's like a full circle moment. It just made sense, you know.
Full circle. You broke the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Essentially,
found it. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I want to do. Yeah,
I know.
How magical. Yeah,
Thank you.
Especially that part about writing. You know, writing people's stories and you know,
telling
the stories of the community. Very important. Writing, very important. Yeah.
It's an honor to be able to tell someone's story.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's not a job. It's not a chore. It's you have to respect them and like want to make sure that like they are heard in a way that they want to be heard, you know. It's a lot of responsibility, so it's such a beautiful process for sure.
Right. Yeah. Final question, what advice do you have to anyone wanting to pursue a career in public relations?
Ooh, it's a good one. I have two things. Number one is put yourself out there.
Hey.
Literally put yourself out there and take agency of your own journey and your own path, like especially in your professional career, because no one's gonna do it for you.
Right.
Like it really is all on you, you know. And that can sound a little like scary, but truly it's so liberating that like you are the person that's going to take you places. And if you put yourself out there and you keep that in mind, you know, connecting, networking with people, it's gonna propel you, like, for sure. So that's one thing I would say, like, if you want to do that, like, do PR, like, as a career, like, that's one skill to have. Put yourself out there, you know. I didn't want to, like, not to say I didn't want to become the president, but I was nervous. Like, I really was nervous. Like, and I was like, you know what, like, let's do it. And I put myself out there, and I told you, like, I've just listed a bunch of amazing things from this, being part of this club and working with all these amazing people. And number two, I would say, is enjoy the process. Yes. Because if you're not enjoying the process, then what is the point? Because the process is the job,
That's
right?
it.
The process is
Day
the job.
by day.
The campaigning and everything.
Yes.
There's this process to it, and if you're not enjoying every moment of it and hating it, then it's gonna be crappy. So enjoy the process, because that's gonna help you in the long run.
Life lessons, life words. Thank you to our president of the PRSSA.
Thank you.
You know, Dax. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Miguel.
I appreciate
Thank you for having me.
No, wise words. You know, putting things into perspective for me too. You know, like the work that we do, our field, our major. You know, it matters.
It definitely does.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
All right. Yeah. The hour is now 6. Sorry, Dex.
No, you're good. You're great.
The hour is now 6. You're listening to Coyote Radio, broadcasting from the campus of California State University, San Bernardino. Coyote Radio, local bands, 24/7 with your MC, El Coyote. Awoooooo! I hope, hey, let's go. Well, you wanna, hell with me.
What?
Yeah.
How do I do it? Like,
Ow.
Ow,
And
ow,
then-
ow.
Yeah, but then you go, ow, you know?
Ow.
Ow! There, ow! Part of the Yote pack. Hey,
I am.
Hey,
I'm a Yodi now.
Go Yotes.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for listening. Ooh.
Coyote Radio, local
That was so
bands,
fun.
24/7.
We're done?
Yeah, we're done.
Oh my
High
god, that
five.
was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like, this was such a nice process.